Hello friends, this is our midweek update for April 2nd, 2025. I hope you're doing well. I want to make you aware of a couple things going on at the church, and then, believe it or not, we are finished with the book of Ecclesiastes today. We're going to talk about Ecclesiastes chapter 12 here in just a moment, but first, a couple things coming up. First of all, our friend Steve Whitaker, a retired pastor and CEO at John 3:16 Mission, is going to come in and teach a series on Wednesday night, How to Love Our Homeless Neighbors. And that is going to begin April 16th. Actually, that will be Holy Week, and he'll run for 4 weeks. So if you're a Caring Center volunteer, let me encourage you to be a part of these sessions. Compassion fatigue is a real thing, and how to make sure that we keep our love for our homeless neighbors that we serve through our Caring Center ministry is very important. And even if you are considering serving in the Caring Center ministry, you're not sure what you're signing up for, this would be a great introduction to learn some things and then consider volunteering in this very essential area of ministry for our church. So that begins actually 2 weeks from today, April 16th. Later on this month. All right, now I want to spend the rest of my announcement time just talking about Easter. And let me start by talking about Holy Week, and a couple of things are going to happen that week. First is it's going to be baptismal rededication, recommitment time. And so maybe you were baptized as a child or as a student, and you just feel the need, as many people feel that desire, to renew their marital vows, to renew your commitment to the Lord. This may not be the year for you, but it may be. And so you can set up a time. You can contact my office anytime during Holy Week, Monday through Thursday. We're saying about 9 to 3, but if you need special accommodations, we'll find a time to come in, invite a few friends and family, and to recommit yourself to the Lord in our baptistry there in our main corridor. It can be a very special event. Or if you have yet to be baptized and you now know that that's a step of obedience in following Christ, I would encourage you to sign up for that week. Even if we need to spend some time talking between now and that time, we'll take that time to talk about your commitment to the Lord and your baptism or your baptism of recommitment. The other thing that will happen during Holy Week is there will be no midweek update that week, but every day you'll receive a short devotional video, Monday through Saturday of Holy Week. This will go out on our social media platforms. It will be emailed to your inbox if you're a church member and you're on our database, if you're receiving this by email. And it's walking with Christ through Holy Week. These devotionals are not going to be long. They're going to be just a few minutes every day to see what was happening in the life of Christ that day during the week as we approach Easter. And so look for those emails. Again, that's Holy Week. Now let's talk about Easter itself. 3 services that morning. 8:30, 9:45, 11 o'clock. We are officially not having community groups that morning. We will have extended teaching time for the younger preschoolers when they're dismissed during the offering time for all 3 services. So we are not having community groups on that day, but 3 services celebrate the resurrection of Christ, and I would encourage you to serve in an area. And then the next Sunday, April 27th, is going to be an open house for our community groups. I'm communicating directly with our adult leadership for that. And so if you're a part of a community group, pay attention to what's going to happen that Sunday. So now let's finish up the book of Ecclesiastes. And in Ecclesiastes 12, really it's part of a larger unit. If you remember our discussion from Ecclesiastes 11, we're to be responsible for our lives. We're to be responsible to enjoy our lives. And chapter 12 is being responsible to God. And the entire chapter, and this is, of all my favorite sections of Ecclesiastes, this is my favorite because it's an allegory of aging. This entire passage is that we're all getting older, some faster than others. We all will meet the fate of death, and ultimately our lives will have to answer to God. So as you look at this chapter, as you read this chapter, look at it through the lens of growing older. There's the idea here in verse 2, before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark. It's a picture of the end of the day. So life is drawing to an end. Verse 3, when the strong man stoops, our body tends to bend over as we get older. When the grinders cease because they are few, as we get older, our teeth fall out. Those looking through the windows grow dim. Our eyes begin to grow fuzzy in their vision. When people arise at the sound of birds, the smallest noise can wake you up and you're awake for the rest of the night. When people are afraid of the heights and dangers in the street, as we're older, we become more frail and more timid. There's even a reference in verse 5 to sexual desire losing its potency in our life. Desires begin to fade. And verse 6, remember him before the silver cord is severed and the golden bowl is broken. The idea that everything breaks down. And physically, we all feel that as we age, everything begins to break down. In fact, this year I'm targeting community groups and I'm praying for a different one every week. And recently I reached out to a particular community group and I had so many responses back saying, thank you for praying for us. You know, we're growing older now and we have a lot of physical concerns. This is just a part of life. We are to use these things as a reminder to remember God, that we are frail, that our days here are numbered, but we are meant for eternity. And that's why Ecclesiastes, the writer, ends by saying in the very end, verse 13, this is the conclusion of the matter, fear God and keep his commands. Because ultimately we are responsible for how we live. We're responsible for enjoying life. Ultimately, we're responsible to God. So that's Ecclesiastes chapter 12. And I hope you've enjoyed this session through Ecclesiastes. It's a book about dealing with reality, dealing with life and all of its good and bad, and giving it all to the Lord. Love you, love serving as your pastor. I anticipate great things this Easter. Consider your walk with the Lord very carefully in these days, and we'll look forward to Easter on April 20th. Love you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.